Yo, Drew from Soccer Kinesiology. Today we're discussing a Choose Siva's change of direction, COD for short. More specifically, we're taking a deep dive into his pivot COD mechanics. There are three general types of CODs. One is the pivot, another is the cyclic step, and one is the side step. Before we begin, I want to clarify the definition of a pivot that we're going to be using for today. A pivot is a low speed, sharp angle cut. I'll say that one more time. A pivot is a low speed, sharp angle cut. So for example, if I'm traveling in this direction and I perform a pivot, I'm forced to decelerate down to a velocity of 0 before accelerating back out. I'm not able to maintain or carry out my speed all throughout, making this a low speed COD. Once again, if I'm traveling in this direction and I execute a pivot, I want to travel back in the same direction that I came from, making this a sharp COD. The premise of executing a great pivot comes before and after the final foot contact. So before the final foot is planted, we want to maximize the braking impulse. After the final foot is planted, we want to maximize our acceleration impulse. So for example, if I'm traveling in this direction, I want to slam on the brakes, maximize the amount of braking force that we're applying into the ground. Final foot makes contact. After that, we're maximizing the acceleration impulse in order to get back up to speed. In order to maximize that effect, we want to maximize not only the amount of force that we're pushing into the ground, but also maximize the amount of time that we're applying that force. So for example, once again, I'm traveling this direction. Before our final foot makes contact, our penultimate foot is extremely important. Penultimate meaning second last. We begin applying force early. We're braking. Final foot contact happens. We're still braking. Now we begin to accelerate. My final foot contact is fully extended and not able to push into the ground anymore. This leg still has room. I'm pushing and accelerating out. However, when we look at Siva's pivot mechanics, he does not put enough effort up front before the final foot contact is made. His penultimate foot makes contact at an awkward angle so that when the final foot contact is made, he's forced to release his penultimate foot and lean towards the direction that he was initially traveling in, away from where he wants to get to. This makes it extremely hard for him to get back and accelerate back in the direction that he came from. So here's one exercise that we're going to include in Siva's workout in order to work on his pivot COD.